so I can bend it. It's not stiff. Now I'm going to use the leather quilting foot. Let me take my shoe off. The leather I can't
So you
sew with my shoes
used,
on.
what kind of glue did you use?
6000.
Okay.
Stretch. I also used it on that patch, so on that, because you can't sew through those things. The leather quilting foot works really good for leather. I did sew it through, we did sew through the leather, like she said, and it just ran right through. And I hate to sew leather because it sticks when you sew it. You have to pull on it.
So you don't use it for vinyl, just leather?
I think you can use
Because I
it
know
for
there's a
vinyl
roller
too. I
foot
think
for
any
vinyl,
kind of. I use the Teflon foot most of the time for the vinyl. So especially, I don't know if anybody was in here when I was making those mailboxes. That one day, for weeks I made them. They had the clear plastic on them. The little, oh, they were horrible. I used that Teflon foot and it just ran right over. It just saved me so much time. So what I did was I'm just going to make a little, I don't know, something out of this. And I put some quilted, some batting in between it. And then a backing. And just show you that it's not just for leather. And then put my foot down. I'm just going to go straight across. We're going to make our stitches bigger. And it just runs it straight across. So my straight stitch to sew it down. And then I'm going to start stippling. And I love this when we were trying it out yesterday because I can use that applique foot, you know, the clear applique foot. I can use that applique foot, but I don't have any control over that foot. So this gives me a little more control, I think, because it's got a little pressure on there and the applique foot doesn't give you any pressure. So if I want to stipple, I can just turn it. No.
It's not through free motion.
Right, it's fake free motion. But you have a little more control with it. I think you do. I don't like to quilt. I don't like to quilt. I would do something with this because I can just move it around. Oh, running into my button. I got the tight circle. But it turns, and once I get finished, I just did a little bit so you can see. It does turn, and I don't do nearly as pretty as Denise. She has all these pretty designs. But if I wanted to, I could finish up with some more stippling around on it. And then, I love this foot. I'm going to show you this cording foot. Let me take this off. I love this. Can't live without it. I know y'all see them over there. I do a lot of cushions and upholstery and drapery. And if I'd known about this corded foot, it'd be really nice. Because the zipper foot makes it very hard to do a double cord. And this also does just one, you can do just one cording too on it.
What would you do a double cord for? Just decorative?
Decorative, okay. Around the edge of pillows. Like if I was going to make this into a pillow, I'll show you. Okay. Around the edge of pillows, you can cut the ends off like I did here. I just trimmed it. And this can be glued like to a chair, around a chair, which is what I want to do.
You'd use this E6000?
Yes.
And it really holds
It will
well?
hold. It will hold. I like the old E6000. I'm a believer. I'm a believer in it. And I have some of the old E6000 over there, but I like the way this doesn't get stiff. The old E6000 is stiff. Now, if I wanted to make cording, I've already sewn. I never cut cording on the bias unless I just think I need to. I don't.
You just cut strips.
I just cut strips. Never had a problem with it ever giving me problems. And I have two pieces. I have this smaller foot on here too for the 4 to 6 millimeter. And let me show you. It's got these 2 grooves. So I just line it up under the groove. And I can move, there's enough room to move your needle back and forth if you want it to be close. So I have a little cording sticking out of the end. Just line it up under there. And I want it to be real close to it, so I'm going to move my needle over too. Okay. That may be a little too close. There we go. And then you still, you're still making cording the same way you would with a zipper foot, but you have this little groove to hold it in place, and your needle can get real close to the edge, or real close to the piping, which I really like. Yes. And I have not tried it yet, but I will be trying it because I've got some cushions over there to do for a customer. So I'm going to see if I can get the piping to sew onto the cushions with this foot. I'm going to try that and see. Okay, we'll go there. Now that just makes your single cording. So you have your single cording. You know, you'd serge off to make your welting if you're going to put it into pillows, or you just trim it off if you're going to sew it on. However, now to make the double, there were 2 different ways to do it, and this is the one that I liked the best. I like to put my cording right beside the other piece and just flip that over just like that. Okay? And then it's going to go back under there. And I'm going to put my needle in the center position now. So under that foot.
So you just rolled it over?
Just rolled it over. And I start just a little past the edge. Now, you could use decorative threads in your bobbin to get a pretty decorative thread if you wanted to do that. If you were going to use it like on the upholstery, where you're just going to glue it down and you're going to see this, use a decorative thread in there. I think that if you were doing it on a stocking for Christmas, use a metallic thread in there or something like that. Be pretty. I'm going to try double cording on stockings and see how I like it. Because now that we have this foot, I really like double cording. Just a little bit further.
Just makes me
And what I would do is, like I trimmed off here, if I wanted to stick it onto upholstery, just glue it up on upholstery. If I wanted to put it on the edge of this like a pillow, I would serge with the edge of the presser foot right against the edge of the cording. Serge down, that gives you about 5/8 of an inch. Usually, I won't even trim it, I'm just going to show you. Let's see if it'll sew on there. It's a good time to learn. It'll sew down. If I went in like this, I don't think it's going to get close enough to sew down. If this ain't working, I have to take this one off. This is, we're all experimenting right now. So I'm going to pull through here. Well, it sewed it down, but you've still got that lip, so you probably better use a zipper foot to get that down. But I would use a zipper foot and sew that down, and then put a backing on that or binding on that. Wouldn't that be cute with a binding around it? And then you also have the, oh goodness, if you had a binding right up against the cording, and have a little extra trim there. I think that would be cute. Does that make any sense? Can you make it that? Well, if you put your cording on it, and then you decided to bind it too, and you put a binding on there. Hold on, I did that. Let's just do it like we just told it to. Fold your binding over. Get it up under that cording. You could do it in a different color if you really cute.
Is that an Audrey you're using?
Lure.
This is a lure.
Oh, okay.
This is the one we have over there. Thread. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah. I really need a zipper foot to do this part, but to give you an idea. Because you'd have your zipper foot, so it'd be real close. But wouldn't it be cute to do a little trim and then do a binding in a different color around a quilt?